Separated at birth, General Trelane, retired, and Liberace. It's the Squire of Gathos next.
Hi, welcome to Edith Keeler's Edge of Forever Bar and Grill. I'm Chip Cosell, and this is John Whitney.
John Whitney, yeah.
Hi, I have some glasses on because I just had a procedure done, and I'm very sensitive to light, so I decided to just wear them and be a nerd, even though everyone in my life hates these glasses.
So you see Chip driving down the road, barely looking over his steering wheel.
That's why.
He's got those glasses on. He's got to fit it there.
Yeah. So how's it going, John? What's going on? How are we doing today?
I think we're doing all right. Yeah. We just got done watching the episode.
Yeah, it was fun. It was one of the funner episodes. I think, definitely.
And we'll talk about it. Yeah.
What are we drinking tonight?
I have George Dickel bourbon whiskey.
Oh man, excellent.
Never had it.
Oh, you never had that one?
No. So we'll try it out.
We know the name George Dickel.
Sure.
Might as well pour it because, after all, the bar is open. Welcome aboard.
That's true. Yes. Almost forgot his little tag, his little opening line. I never tried it before. We'll give it a shot.
Yeah, and the George Dickel bottle is the bottle used for Saurian brandy.
Yes,
it was a special commemorative bottle back in 1964. Is that the story, John?
Yeah, it's like called the ram's horn or the horn bottle or something like that. You can buy it online.
Yeah, if you want to pay.
No, it's not that much. You can find like one that's like somewhere around 50 or 60 bucks.
Well, cheers. Let's give this a sip.
Let's see what this stuff's like.
Top off.
Yeah, not bad.
Ooh.
Okay. The Squire of Gathos. We open and the Enterprise is in space, and they're actually going on a supply run mission.
Yeah.
And they're just kind of scooting along and
because they're like, there's this void in space. They want to cross this void. It's like a star desert, they called it. Which
that's right.
I don't know what that's all about.
Yeah, McCoy is like desert.
Yeah.
You find palm trees.
Yeah.
Sand.
And of course, Spock has a back and forth with him about that, the logic of all that.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway.
Yeah, of course. You can't forget the yeoman's walking around with a tray of coffee.
Oh, that's right.
Right out of the box.
Styrofoam coffee cups.
Must be a coffee break. They drink a lot of coffee on the Enterprise, I noticed, last few episodes, right?
It's a shit ton of coffee, man.
It's in the styrofoam cups,
Somebody should come out with the styrofoam cups.
Yeah, that would be silver styrofoam cups.
I'd buy those. I'd buy those and use them all the time.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
Yeah, and so Spock's looking at the navigator station, and he's like, "Oh, correction!" Like he's talking about how clear the space is. He goes, "Correction! I'm picking up a spatial anomaly."
Yeah.
And Kirk's like, "Well, confirm, DeSalle, confirm." And he's like looking, and he has his cup of coffee right on the dashboard there, where control panel. And I said to John, I said, "He's gonna spill that coffee, man."
I know.
They don't have a cup holder on the Enterprise.
I know. There's a shot later. I don't know what scene it is, but Uhura's got the coffee cup right there on her console, and her console is like that steep.
Yeah.
And the cup is just like this. It's like that.
It's getting ready to fall.
It's about to fall, I'm sure.
Oh man! So this planet appears out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And Spock's like, we don't have this on any of the star charts, and Kirk's like, well, we'll investigate it later, make a note, let's get out of here.
Notes got her, yeah.
And they try to get away. What do they?
No, he just says, make some scans.
Oh, that's right.
And so they begin to do that, and
he orders Sulu to course correct.
Yeah, course correct. And he starts to, and he like freezes and does a weird thing, and then he disappears. Kirk sees that, and he goes over there.
And then Kirk disappears.
Yeah.
And the navigator goes, "They're gone, Mr. Spock."
Mr. Spock whips his head over, and he's like, "Huh."
Full reverse power.
Yeah, and then we go to the opening.
Yeah, that goes to the opening.
Okay.
Boom, boom, boom.
And then we come back from the open, and we are already in orbit of this planet, Gothos.
Yes.
Yeah. And so
they're on the bridge, and they're talking about what happened. Descal's talking about it. Then there's this new guy, Mr. Yeager. He's like the geologist or the meteorologist.
Yeah, they keep calling him a geoscientist. But later on, they introduce him as the meteorologist.
Yeah.
So it's kind of...
Yeah, and he says, he's giving the bad news, like the planet's inhabitable, it's full of lava, molten lava storms, tornadoes, and everything. Tornadic activity, I think is what he said.
And they're like saying, and Spock asks him, how long can somebody last on the surface of the planet? And he's like going, not very long.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because before that, the navigator says, let's go down there and do a search party right now.
Yeah.
And McCoy's like, I agree with DeSalle.
Yeah, let's do it.
And he's like, I'll make the decisions. As Spock did on Galileo. I'm here to make decisions. I'm here to protect you guys.
Yeah.
And so how can you argue with that?
Right. And then Uhura gets a message on her screen. It's this, what's that called? Not Sanskrit, but
it's
cursive.
I don't even know what it is.
It's the ink.
It's some kind of calligraphy.
Calligraphy, that's it. Calligraphy.
Yeah. What is this? It says greetings.
This is greetings and felicitations.
Right.
I couldn't read it though, but it says felicitations.
Spock is like going up. There's like greetings and
felicitations. Whoever's transmitting, I am, this is the Enterprise or whatever he says. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't remember. We just saw it.
Yeah.
And
about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, and then the message, hip hip hurrah, tally ho. And Spock's reading it in this very nerdy way, and I believe the pronunciation is tally ho.
Yeah.
It's like kind of funny. I like that. Yeah. So he decides to go with DeSalle. He sets up a transporter team. He says, go ahead, DeSalle, set up an away team.
Right.
Scotty will stay, and Scotty and I need to stay on board the Enterprise. We're needed here. We're too valuable.
Yeager
so
goes,
they send Yeager and
McCoy.
Yeah.
He's going. So now we're in the transporter room, and they've got these masks on, which strangely reminds me of the Empire Strikes Back.
Oh,
when they're inside the giant worm, remember?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Very simple thing.
Yeah, like a weird, just a mask that you would put on somebody's face for oxygen.
So that's going to protect them from all this horrible weather that Yeager found.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Spock hands him this thing. It's like an egg with a pointer thing on it.
Yeah, an egg with a really weird pointing thing.
It's like a laser signal of some
Yeah, he
kind.
calls it a laser beacon.
Yeah.
And I've never seen it before.
No, I haven't seen it since, I don't think. Maybe
I don't
we'll
know.
discover that later.
Yeah, maybe we'll keep an eye out for it.
Who knows? So they beam down, and they're on this planet, and it's kind of this lush area. Yeager takes some readings, and he's like, it's just like the atmosphere in the ship. And he pulls off his mask, and they're breathing, and the other guy pulls off his mask, and so does McCoy. So they're kind of looking around. And the DeSalle guy, he thinks he needs to actually... Well, they try to get a hold of the Enterprise. They have no luck. So the DeSalle guy says, well, I'll use the beacon.
Yeah, and he's trying to activate that, and it makes a weird boing, boing noise.
So it doesn't really work. So he says, well, I got to find a clearing maybe. So he walks away, and then he discovers this castle.
Yeah, there's the castle out of nowhere. And he's like yelling for the rest of them, hey, guys, come over here. So they all run up, and there's this castle-looking place.
So is it the castle from Cat's Paw? Go ahead and answer down below. I think it's the castle from Cat's Paw.
Yeah, I do too.
Is that the name of the title? Is that the title of the episode, Cat's Paw?
Yeah, I called it the Halloween episode.
Yeah.
We are scarily approaching Halloween right now.
Yes. He didn't say that. I want to keep this evergreen. Anyway, so... No, it's fine. He said that. Yeah, we are close to Halloween.
So the Cat's Paw episode is interesting when we get to it. I haven't seen it in a while, but I did see it recently, last couple of years after they did the remaster, and they added a different establishing shot where you get to see the entire castle.
Yeah.
And they should have done that here, I think.
They go into the castle.
Yeah, and it's full. It looks like 900 years ago.
It's like
from
the 17th
medieval
century.
times. Medieval times.
It's like 17th century decor.
Yes.
Kind of Napoleon
Exactly.
time.
Yes.
Was that 1800, early 1800s? That was early 1800s. Because he
Fascinating.
talks about Napoleon.
Yes, he does.
So it's like early 1800s, I think.
But he also goose steps around like a Nazi.
I know.
So
We'll
that's
get to
kind
that,
of
though.
out
We'll
of
get to
place, though.
Yes. So there's something that you noticed. There's in one of the cubbies. Who's standing there?
The salt vampire
know.
from episode 1.
That's right. From
the man trap.
Man Trap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It looks like they just say, let's go into the costume shop and just grab a couple things, put them on some dummies, and
Right,
stand them up.
exactly. Like, let's get that thing out. We spent so much money on it. Let's use it.
Yeah, probably the
Yeah.
guy who put the salt monster on there
Yeah.
was like going, nobody's gonna know it. Nobody's gonna even see this. We're gonna be canceled by now.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
I liked it because it was kind of like an Easter egg, an early version of an Easter egg, like on Alien versus Predator. You see like Easter eggs, like in Predator, you see like an alien skull in the background. It was like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's kind of cool, like an Easter egg thing. I wish I knew what the second thing was. If anybody out there knows, one or two of you that actually watch this, let us know what that other thing is that Trelane later disintegrates.
McCoy says something like, "In the name of heaven, what the hell is this place?"
That's right. Yeah.
Or something. Then they look over, and it is.
It's Kirk and Sulu.
But if you look real close, when they first cut to that shot, Kirk blinks.
Yep. William Shatner was blinking. He couldn't
he's
take it.
blinking. I guess they needed just a little bit more on that shot, and they just pulled it back and hope nobody would notice.
Yeah, he was not going to.
Yeah, so they
Not
walk
blink.
over and they kind of like, doesn't McCoy take a reading on him, and he's like, they're like wax figures or something.
Yeah, he does that. The door slams and the piano starts playing. You know.
Oh,
and
that's right.
It's Trelane. He's like, "Oh, hello. You like my display?"
Yeah, that's right.
It's all like weird.
Welcome to my house.
Yeah.
I suppose you want me to free them.
Yeah, and he lets him go, and Kirk's like, "Hey, fill me in. What happened?" And then Bones is like giving him the, what's
he's
going
like,
on.
Well, you disappeared from the bridge, and we've been searching for you for 4 days.
Yeah. And then Trelane introduces himself as General Trelane, retired.
That's right. It's so funny. Every time he says that,
Retired.
Retired.
And then Yeager kind of steps in and says, "Captain, you notice everything's like from 900 years ago. It's the time dilation."
Yeah.
Like, so as if he's been looking through
Differential,
a
something.
time, differential.
Yeah.
But as if he was looking through a viewer 900 years into the past.
Yeah. So he goes over to him and he's like going, I'm just confused. He's playing. He's like going, one thing about your people, I didn't know that you could travel so far on such a voyage. And he's like, well, you're kind of off by 900 years. He's like going, interesting. I'm off. I'm off by wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. And I think this is probably the only time they ever talk about time dilation like that. Like using actual science of light traveling the distance is also the time it takes, I don't know. So they want to get out of there. He wants him to stay, and there's back and forth talking about it. And Kirk's talking to DeSalle. He was going to put, he's telling him to put the phaser on stun. We put the phaser on stun DeSalle, and he goes, "Oh, DeSalle, French, parlez-vous français, blah blah blah." Speaking French to him.
Was that after or before he tried to? No, that was
No,
before.
he's before he went to shoot.
And then he goes, "Oh yes,
Yes, my descendants are French."
That's right.
And that's when Kirk does the introductions.
This is McCoy. This is our doctor. This is Sulu, our pilot, and this is Yeager,
our meteorologist.
He goes,
yes.
He's like, "Oh, fair doctor," and he's like going, "I am honored, Mr. Sulu," and and Sulu's like going, "What the heck's up with this guy?" And then he goes, "Yeager," and he's like going, "Hey," this is like the Heil Hitler with the clicks in the back of the thing. He's like on
snaps,
"You die, fear," and he starts going around. And he's like acting like some German stooge from World War II. Yeah.
So DeSalle has his phaser on stun, and he's sneaking
Kirk
up
goes and talks to him about something first, about
Yeah.
you got to let's go, or something like that, right?
Something like that.
And so he kind of starts like waxing poetic and turns to the mirror and starts to kind of say something, and DeSalle is sneaking up on him, and he freezes him.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
And then he goes, "What is this?" And he takes this. "What a weapon! What this weapon this is!" And he grabs the weapon he's looking at. He's like going, "Oh, look! This is not to kill, and this is to kill."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And he like points it at the monsters that were up there, right?
Yeah, he phasers the salt vampire.
Yeah, salt
from
vampire.
episode 1.
That disappears. And he's like, "Oh my goodness, this is wonderful!" And then he shoots the other one.
Yeah, this other thing we still don't know what it is. We've seen this episode a bunch, and I haven't even frozen it yet to see what it is. It goes by too quick. But there's another thing.
What's with the glasses, by the way?
Because like I said at the beginning,
I think we were at the beginning. Do you
I
really need to wear those.
No, let me see. I'll try to. There, I can do it. Yeah, I think it's a little bit better. I can take them off for now. Usually the lights bothered me at first, but I think I'm getting used to them. Thanks. Yeah, I had some procedure done on my eyes, so it's very sensitive and dilated and stuff.
But it feels
But
good
hi,
now.
you guys probably
It's
like
fine
my
now,
pretty
right?
face anyway.
That's right.
You know, our demographic.
Is that okay? Did you want to take those
2%.
off? You're good?
Yeah, no, I could take them off.
I'll
take them off for a little bit, see how long it lasts.
Yeah.
I can actually see really well up close. Like I can read the computer screen really well.
So he shoots the things he's really like looking at. Oh my God, you could kill millions with this, you know. And Kirk kind of walks over and takes it away from him. It's like this is not a toy.
Yeah. Yep. That's right.
You know.
Yeah, and he's like asking him questions about like how he does stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know how good, but Trelane tells him, well, we perfected the matter transformation. We can transport matter from one place to another place, it's like our transporter. And he's like, yeah, a very crude example, but we can not only transport matter, but we can change it.
And he's like, well, then tell me exactly how. No, you bore me with this line of questioning, Captain.
Yeah, Kirk's totally getting into asking questions.
Yeah. So he basically wants to leave.
Yeah,
Kirk
he's like, we're getting out of here.
He's like, oh, I must show you, and that you obviously don't understand that I'm a superior individual.
He transports him outside real quick in the atmosphere.
That's right, and he's like choking and stuff and choking.
Yeah, and he comes back in, he's like, you know.
Coughing.
He goes, that's what the atmosphere looks like outside my kindly influence. Mm-hmm. And so, then he gave up on doing that, I guess.
He says, don't cross me, Captain, because you will make me very, very angry.
Yeah, and it cuts to a commercial.
Yeah, something like that.
So it's kind of cool. And we get to see this, like, he's so friendly and harmless, but at the same time, he's foreboding that he's super powerful.
Right.
And he'll crush them.
Exactly.
You know? Then it comes back, and it's exterior of the ship in orbit, and Spock is doing the captain's log.
Right.
And he's like, they're trying to penetrate the field, and they're going to figure out a way to like try to beam him up. Yeah.
They find an area down on the planet that actually can support life or whatever.
Yeah, he's discussing it with Mr. Scott.
Yeah, Mr. Scott.
And it's like, well, we don't even know if they're there. And he's like, well, if they are anywhere, they would have to be there.
Right.
Exactly.
So now we go back down to the planet, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And so he's like showing off all of his flags, about how awesome these flags are, and this is I believe from Napoleon or whoever, all these like conquest flags,
all these flags about war, and he's
so psyched about it.
Yeah, he must be like, he's like, I'm doing my thesis on war or something. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's like, men, soldiers carrying these flags into battle, into their death. Doesn't that just make your blood run rapid or something? And he walks off there and starts playing the piano again.
Sulu was like, what is he, kind of thing, and then Bones was saying that he did a scan of him. There's no physical trace of him. It's like he's not even there. Kirk is trying to reason with Trelane.
He says, "Oh, you have to. There's all these people on board, all these men and women on board that are counting on that I have to protect." He's like going, "You have the fairest sex on board your ship."
He's like, "Women?"
Yes. Yeah. I must bring them out to sweet.
Yeah, that's it. And he
stops them.
Yeah. That was awesome.
And then we hear beep, beep, and there's a transport. McCoy gets a signal. He says, hey, there's a transport signal.
Yeah, that's right. And he goes, what does that mean? Trelane's like, what do you mean? It means we're getting out of here, Trelane.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
And he goes over, they all beam up.
And they get to the transporter room, and he's like...
how'd you break through the radiation field?
Yeah.
And Spock's, we didn't. We simply beamed aboard everybody that had a life form or something like that.
Right, and not Trelane, because he's not, obviously.
And that Bone was like, that confirms it. He's not a life form as we know it,
And then Kirk is like, okay, we got to get out of here right now. Mm-hmm. So we go to the bridge.
Yeah, yep. Yep, and when he comes in, the yeoman goes, Captain, I was worried.
Right.
Yes, like... They must have written this back when Yeoman Rand was, because have never seen them have a relationship.
Yeah, never a relationship, but
Oh well,
something, I don't know.
Yeah, and so and I like that part where Bones is talking to Uhura, and Uhura's like, "What was that, Doctor?" And he goes, it was so hard to explain. I don't know. And then all of a sudden, boom! There he appears on the bridge, and he should have said, "Well, it was that."
Yeah, exactly.
It was that thing right there.
Where are your weapons, Captain? You're not displaying your weapons, or something like that.
Yeah, which was awesome. That was funny.
And he's like, "What are you doing here?"
He was a Trelane. He's kind of frustrated.
Yeah.
He goes, "I'm annoyed." Something about where is that Mr. Spock? Who, I'm
I am
annoyed
Spock.
with him. I I don't like him. I think you should punish him or something like that.
Actually, I'm going to commend him for his actions.
When Kirk says, as a matter of fact, I'm going to accommodate him, he goes, but I don't like him.
Yeah.
That's funny. And then, well, he says, we must have this conversation in my dining room. Boom.
Yeah,
and he, boom, they're instantly down on the planet's surface.
This is a much better place to do, much more great or whatever.
Right.
And Sue is like going, no.
Yeah, yes. And DeSale's ever the hothead. He's getting up to tackle him or something.
He's like freezes him, and Kirk is like, let him go. He's like, oh, fine.
Yeah. Sue's like, we don't even have our weapons. And this is where he's like, everyone sit for dinner. You must simply partake in. He's using all these big words and flowery words. Wait till you see it. So
I guess that's when the dinner is.
Yeah. And then Kirk gives the nod, go ahead. So everybody sits down. That's when Bones is trying the wine and the
he goes right to the liquor.
Right to the booze.
Yeah,
because he's the drinker. It's established.
Yeah, he loves some brandy.
Every pilot episode, every first.
He's drinking.
The doc is also the bartender, man.
Here's to you.
Yeah.
DeForest Kelly.
A real American hero.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes, Captain, you have to introduce me to the ladies, So he walks over to the ladies and he goes to Uhura. Nubian prize. Taken on one of your conquests, no doubt.
Yeah, Kirk is like, no doubt.
Yeah, and she gives this look like, yeah,
And this must be the face of a woman that
launched
1,000 ships.
Yeah.
Kiss me and make me mortal. Yeah. Or something like that.
Yeah. And Kirk grabs her, goes, that's Yeoman Jessica Yand or something. I don't know what her name is. It's Teresa Ross. That's her name. Yeoman Teresa Ross. She gets a name right away. That's good. Hopefully she'll come back, but I don't think she ever does.
No, that's right.
And this is the Spock.
This is the thing.
Yeah.
And then this is
Mr.
Mr. Spock. You
Spock.
remember Mr. Spock, right? Oh, yes.
Mr. Spock, yes. And does he say something like, Mr. Spock, you must hate me or something like that, right?
It's something like that. It must make you angry or something.
Yeah. And he goes, I object to you. And then Trelane is like, you do have one saving grace after all. You're ill-mannered. No doubt you're a human half. That is hilarious. He's like getting a kick out of it. That's what I like about this episode is that this character is so dangerous, but is so friendly and likable. He's like, but at any moment you could make a wrong turn with him.
And then Trelane turns to the ladies and like, let's dance. Goes up to the blonde girl and he says, let's dance. And he goes, play us a little tune. And Uhura's like going, I don't know how to play this. And he goes, bring, and all of a sudden, she's playing.
Yep, she's
and
playing.
And then he starts dancing with the yeoman.
Yes.
Right?
Yeoman Teresa Ross.
Then we go back over to the guys. And
that's where the Sulu and Bones walk up.
And they start talking about,
who is this guy?
When he comes over, this stuff tastes like straw.
Yeah.
And the brandy doesn't taste like anything. It tastes like water, basically.
After Bones says that, Spock says something like, oh, logical. And he goes, there's that logic word again.
Yeah.
Logic. How do you get it? How do you figure that? I thought you'd say fascinating. Yeah. He goes, no, fascinating is what I reserve for the unexpected. I would say this is interesting, though.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah. And then Kirk's like, what? Interesting how? What?
Expand.
Yeah.
So they talk about there's got to be some kind of what kind of machine could do all this?
Yeah, some sort of device.
Yeah. They talk about how he's always looking in the mirror.
Yeah. Like he's really vanity, perhaps, or something else.
Yeah. So he makes the conclusion maybe there's a machine back there, or something back there that controls everything. So he decides that he's got an idea. He's going to try something. So he walks up to Trelane, who has, in the meantime, changed the yeoman's dress into like a 17th century or 18th century dress.
Yeah.
And they're dancing.
Or a reject from the costume department from Shore Leave episode.
Yeah, exactly. So they're dancing, and he walks up to him and kind of yanks her out of his arms, and
he starts acting jealous, basically.
Yeah. Captain, what are you doing? You're tired of you dancing with her. You can't dance with her. I won't allow it. He slaps him across the face. That's right.
Are you challenging me to a duel?
Yeah, if you have the courage.
That's it. If you have the courage.
Yeah.
And that sound effect of that
crack.
light cloth going again. It was like leather on a hide.
And he gets really excited because he's like, a duel. And he goes, I have the exact rings. And he goes up and he gets like these flintlock guns.
Yes.
And he brings him over, and he's like going, just like your hero, Alexander Hamilton, got killed with.
Oh, and he goes, and Captain, I never miss.
I never miss.
Yeah, and then it cuts to a commercial and comes back, and it's Captain's log. He's going to try and play this game with Trelane. This game's going to be the Field of Honor game. And then Trelane, they're getting ready to shoot off, to square off, and Trelane says, oh, wait, as the one challenged, I get first shot. And he's like, no, we go together. And he's like, no, my game, my rules.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of like babyish.
Right, exactly. So then they're getting ready to fire, and he says, I'm not going to, we're not going to do it. I'm going to do it at the same time. And he says, well, maybe I'll just try it on here. And he points at Spock, and he basically threatens to shoot him. And he goes, okay, you can shoot first. Yeah. And so they start, and Trelane puts the gun up in the air and shoots and fires.
Yes.
Which is basically an old thing where you concede. I think they did that in
Barry Lyndon.
Barry Lyndon, yeah.
How'd you know that?
I don't know. the Kubrick movie from the 70s.
Stanley Kubrick, 1975.
Yeah. So
that's crazy.
So basically, that's a
book.
concede. Basically, we don't have to fight.
Yeah, exactly. But it saves everybody's honor. It's like saving face.
Yeah.
So he does that, but then he's like, "Oh, Captain, how do you say my fate is in your hands?" Or something. What does he say? Is that what he says?
Something like that.
And he like calls him, getting ready to go. And Kirk is like aiming right at him, but then
turns
last second, squeezes the trigger and shoots the mirror.
And all these sound effects start happening. Is like going slide whistles and boy,
and the fire's going up and
so
down.
it's kind of like cartoony stuff, and kind of like another hint that he may be a child. And then he's like, "Oh, what are you doing? You broke it," or something.
He's like, "Oh, you ruined my beer. Oh, go back to your ship." And they're getting a signal to get out of there. You're like, "Get out of here."
Yeah, you go back to your ship.
I'm going to kill you. You're all dead.
Especially you, Captain.
Yeah.
And he goes to his mirror and he disappears.
Yeah.
He's like, Trelane, where are you going?
Yeah.
And he left. So
they get out. Beam us up full speed, and then they get up there. They go to the bridge, and get us out of here, Sulu. And then they're trying to get out, and Spock hands him a clipboard because, of course, in the emergency situation, you still have to sign your fuel consumption report, your TCS reports.
Yeah.
And he hands it off to the yeoman who's still in a dress, and they have this exchange that's kind of interesting.
She looks at him kind of weird. So she says, "Can I change out of this?" And he's, "Of course." What do you say? What's he say?
Yeah, he says, "Yes. You're turning your glass slippers. The ball is over."
And she's like, "Gladly, sir," and like goes.
Yeah, and then goes. And then they're booking. They're getting out of there. Sulu's going warp or whatever. And then the planet appears ahead of them, and they're like, "Hey, there's the planet again."
But they don't know it's the planet yet.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, like another planet. They're coming up on it really fast.
Yeah, Spock is like a collision course, and so they says, hard to port, and they go get around it, and they're leaning the camera, and they're all
they're doing that Dutch angle thing.
Yeah, the Dutch angle.
And then the actors are. This is like when they establish that canon, I think, really well. This is like one of the first times it's used. So obviously,
and so they think they get away from it, and then it's in front of them again, and then Spock is like, "It's Gothos," and he's like, "Gothos?
Yeah.
Are we going in circles?" He goes, "No, we're on the course. We're on the right course, Captain."
Yeah.
So they're dodging, and then suddenly Kirk is like going, "Fuck it," basically.
Standard orbit, Mr. Sulu.
Yeah, he's like, "I'm going down there, and I'm gonna, give him a piece of my mind and see what he wants."
Bones is like, "You're not beaming down there, are you?" And that's when Kirk says that. "You bet I am."
Now, does he disappear, or does it go to commercial? I can't remember.
He does beam down, but they don't show the beam down. It just kind of cuts, and he's down.
He's down there. He's and it's a shot of Trelane, and he's got like this old timey English judge outfit.
Yeah, with an English wig.
Yeah, and it kind of reminds me of I think the pilot episode of Next Generation.
Encounter at Farpoint. The first episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Encounter at Farpoint, and that is the first episode that has Q in it.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people on the internet think that this is actually the first time we see Q in the Star Trek universe. That maybe this is a young child Q.
Yeah, that's right.
Because there's this connection visually with these two scenes with the trial, because Picard is being put on trial for the
crimes of humanity.
Yeah. Anyway, so there's like this, this rope thing behind him, and
Yeah, it's a shadow of the rope. It's a very what's that called? Where it's very stylistic. It's stylistic.
Yeah, there's
they
like
don't show a rope; they show a shadow of a rope.
And there's a spotlight on Kirk.
Yeah.
That follows him a little bit. But he starts reading. He's like going, Kirk, James T. Kirk is hereby, accused of, what does he say?
Crimes against
against
the superior authority.
Yeah, exactly, right. And so he's like, they have an argument.
If you think you're going to plead guilty to this, you got another thing coming, kind of thing.
Yeah,
He's telling him shit like that. He said something about how he just wants to protect his ship, punish me for what I did, not them. And he goes, "Oh, so you do admit it?" And he goes, "Yeah, fine.
Yeah,
I admit it.
I admit I've been nothing, but just don't take it out of my ship."
Yeah, exactly. He wants to save his crew because he says you're going to hang from the neck until dead. And then there's a break, and then it goes back to the ship, and it's captain's log. Spock is given the captain's log, and there's a nice little volcanic interruption on the lower right. If you look, I noticed that, so I didn't actually tell John about that one, but that was what reminded me of it. So he goes, "We're going to have to," because Kirk ordered him to leave in an hour if they don't hear from him.
Right.
Because we are prepping to leave very soon. We are still looking for the captain, kind of thing. So then it cuts back to the planet, and there's the shadow of the new. Trelane actually felt emotion, and he's excited about it. He goes, "I was really angry. Oh, I wish that I could sustain it like you're sustaining it now."
This is not very fun at all. He grabs his
glasses.
This is actually kind of boring. And so Kirk Bink has an idea.
Yes.
Well, let's have fun then.
Yeah, he goes, well, you're missing an opportunity. You're a bumbling, stupid idiot.
Take care.
Take care, that's what he said. Yeah.
Take care.
He goes, where's the sport in a simple hanging?
Because I know it is boring. It is.
Yes.
And so Kirk has the idea, basically, let's just make it, what is just me and you doing something or whatever. And he's like,
more than just the duel kind of thing.
He goes, a hunt. A royal hunt.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what he's doing is he's feeding him breadcrumbs to get him there, to get him to want to hunt Kirk.
Yeah.
Kirk doesn't just come out and say it, but he gets him to want to hunt. He goes, "Oh, that's would be great." He goes, so he says, "No, don't." He's going to strike him down right then and there, but he goes, "Oh,
yeah, let's do something
let's
else.
Up the stakes."
Steaks.
Yummy steaks.
Yes, yummy steaks. I'll take my medium rare, please. Ta-ta, please.
Charbroiled. So, so they up the stakes, and he says, you let my ship go, and I'll give you a hunt like basically number. You get to a human life, mine. And he's like, you and your ship. All right, then.
Yeah,
I agree to your terms.
Boing, he's outside.
Yep.
In the woods. But first he says, make sure you
don't make it too easy now.
Yeah, so he goes outside, boing, and then he's like running. He's trying to get a hold of, Kirk is trying to get a hold of the ship, and he can't. But Trelane is like chasing him, and he's like running around like he's like a child playing hide and seek.
Yeah.
And he catches up to him. They jump by a tree, and Kirk picks up this stick and starts trying to fight him with the stick, and it doesn't quite work.
Trelane, like he's hitting the stick. Why doesn't it go through the stick?
I don't know.
It's so weird. He's like hitting it like really hard, like you're almost chopping wood. But Trelane's just like chill, like this is fun. He's like defending himself by holding up the wood. Yeah. It's great. And then he gets the sword from him, and he swings at him, and he disappears. Yeah, right. And then he comes back. And he's like, "Oh, I must admit, you scored the first point."
I don't know if this is great, but I've never played this game before.
Yeah.
Or something. And so he takes the sword back. Boing, and then he basically chases after Kirk some more.
That's right.
Kirk runs up to the steps of the house.
Yeah, the big castle.
And he tries to get in, and he can't. And then what's his name? Trelane runs up and goes, "Hey, all right, tally ho!" And then runs up to him, and then Kirk tries to get away, and then Trelane adds these bars on either side of him.
These bars pop up in a special effects shot. So he can only get out by going back out down the stairs, but Trelane's there.
Right.
So he goes, "I've won," and this is where Trelane's pronouncing, "I've won. On your knees. Oh, this is what victory feels like.
You haven't won anything.
This is so sweet. I love it."
Yeah, I could run you through right now.
He goes, "No, you haven't." And he grabs the sword and he breaks it. And he goes, "You broke my sword.
That's right.
You cheated.
Yeah, you have a lot to learn,
I
don't
want-
you?
yeah.
Plenty to learn. He like slaps him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Kirk's like realizing, what the fuck is going on here, man? This guy is like,
This is like that guy's acting like a baby.
yeah. That was hilarious.
You
That was
cheated. You cheated. You broke my sword. And so all of a sudden these glowing lights show up, right?
Yes, the glowing globs.
Yeah, he's like, they're like, Trelane, it's time to come in now.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So it's the parents. It's Trelane's mom and dad.
He goes, no, I'm still studying my prey.
Yeah.
This is not studying. Yeah, you're being cruel to your pets.
Yeah.
How many times do we tell you that you can't be cruel to your pets? If you don't start acting better, we will not let you make another planet again. Make another planet.
Yeah, like it's so powerful. He makes his own science fair project by creating planets. It's awesome. And the voice of that guy is actually James Doohan's best friend, who was best man at his wedding in 1974.
And I think the mom is
I think it's Spock's mom.
I think it is Spock's mom. I
Yeah.
can't remember the actress's name, but it definitely sounds like
If you guys
Spock's
know,
mom.
like and comment below.
Comment below.
Yeah, because any interesting little factoid would be great.
Right.
And it's awesome. These are great things. We only point out these things because those are things we really didn't care about or noticed as a kid. You know, we love this show.
Yeah, it's a great
You
show.
know, this was a really great episode. So anyway, Trelane goes, but I won, and
You saw, I won.
yeah.
I was winning.
Yeah.
You know, he's like getting really mad.
Yeah, and then they're bringing him in. They're closing the spotlight on him like this, and he's fading out. And he's saying,
He goes, I would have won. I
Yeah.
woulda. I woulda. I would. I would. I would. I would. I would.
yeah. Boom, boom, boom.
He disappears, and then
Yeah.
they look at Kirk, and they're like going, we're sorry, Captain Kirk. Our son is very rambunctious, and sometimes he gets carried away. We really apologize for you crossing paths with him and everything. We really apologize.
Yeah, they never answered his question. He asked, who are you? Who's Trelane? And they never answer the question.
Because they're cute.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, there must be Q, man. So they said, go ahead, beam up and get out. We'll leave the planet's atmosphere right for you. Time for you to get up there and get out of here.
And then so he goes, okay, he says, the captain to Enterprise, and Spock goes, oh my God, are you okay? He goes, yes, go ahead and beam me up. We're free to go. And they go up to the bridge.
Yeah, and they're at the bridge. It's later, and they're coming into orbit over that planet they had to bring those supplies to. So they're coming in standard orbit.
Spock is like,
yeah,
what is
Spock kind of walks up curiously.
Yeah. And he's like, for my records, how do we describe him? How do we describe him? And he's like, oh, that's a good idea. I don't know. What he says,
God of War?
yes, I don't think it's a very fitting description.
You know, then small boy. And a naughty one at that.
That's right. Because it isn't like you when you were a child and you were like dipping.
It was no different.
Yeah. Dipping little girls' ponytails.
Letting small paper trash bags full of dog poo on fire on neighbors' porches. You know, childhood pranks like that.
Spock is like, huh?
Kirk's like, oh, so sorry, forgive me, Mr. Spock.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden that's the end of the show.
Yeah, and that's the end.
What do we think about this? I like this one a lot.
This was a gut buster. I mean, every time I see it, I just,
it's fun.
you saw me bursting out laughing.
All the time.
Holy moly.
Very fun.
This is really great. I mean, it's just a fun episode. And every week so far, I noticed since we're watching it kind of weekly, we're going in order. It must have been the talk of the town in LA to try and get a guest role on there because there's always a different helmsman or navigator or whatever. You know what I mean? There's always a different.
But they're mostly unknown guys.
Yeah, a bunch of unknowns. Yeah. Different yeomen. But. Yeah, I mean, now that we're older and we know how the industry works, we could see like things like that, how they would save the money and where they would cut and stuff.
Sometimes there's people on the show that become famous later.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it. The next episode is the arena.
Okay, great.
The first time we see the Gorn.
Yes. Excellent.
So that's it.
Yep. Thanks, guys. So we'll close down the bar now. I mean, it's closing time. You don't have to stay here, but
That's right.
you can't. I mean, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Hey, before we sign off, make sure if you like it, subscribe, hit that bell. You'll get notifications that we've uploaded something new.
Yeah, and share us. Share the love.
And we want to thank everybody, all the new subscribers out there.
Yeah.
We put out a video recently that is doing very well, and we appreciate all the shares and all the new subscribers. And so hit that bell, and if you're not a subscriber, where you been?
Yeah, come on, jump on board.
All right.
Until then, the bar's closed.